early in this match. So in goal for this Rebels side is Jessica Pravit, who's a South African under-16 beekeeper. Ball gets in, the stop is not 100%, but they still retain possession and go down the right-hand side, but well defended by the Rebels. Now it's the Raiders into the 9-yard area. Still tussling for the ball, trying to get an outcome. And it's the Rebels under a lot of pressure, and well done from the Rebels because they get it to the safety of the sideline rather than trying to deal with the heavy pressure from the Raiders in that 9-yard area. Raiders in again. Cross is good. Shot is fired in. Save. Rebound. And a couple of sticks flying in again. It's the Rebels that run it to the left, and then they lose it. And it seems like this passage of play is on repeat as it goes to the left-hand side. And Raiders come back, win themselves penalty corner number 2. Down that right-hand side, you've got Carla O'Ryan from Fairmont High, and she's been quite prominent in that right-hand area. Western Province under 14, also played in the Western Province under 13 side a good few years back. But carrying the ball quite a lot down that right-hand side. So Rebels, Jessica Pravit in goals. She's had a bit of work to do again. The stop just hits the stick, comes in, and it's now off the cuff. They look to play the back space. They still work it into, and it's the Rebels that do well just to crowd space and to get the flat sticks in and to make those brave tackles. It's a brave defender who goes and gets down nice and low when any striker is trying to unleash a shot. Now they work it down the left-hand side to the Rebels. Still keeping possession, played into the midfield. And it's a much better play from them, control, but still under a little bit of pressure as a couple of passes are shaky. And it's the Raiders and win ball. It's a lot of tussling going on there between ball, lots of double turnovers. Raiders winning it, then Rebels winning it, then Rebels giving it away, and Raiders winning it. It's plenty of players who are getting their heads down and having to dribble their way out of trouble. And probably what's needed now is a little bit more control, a little bit of eyes up, find the pass, make the simple pass. If you haven't got a pass, find the foot scenario so that it becomes a little bit less frantic and more controlled. Again, ball down that left-hand side. Raiders ball. It's number 17. It's Caitlin Barrett who is working it in Fairmont. And now the strong run out of defence. Jamie Gall, the South African under-16 player, so prominent against the Heat on Wednesday. And most things will go through Jamie Gall, the Springfield Convent girl. Good low centre of gravity, strong on the ball, likes to go forward. So you watch out for the number 57, Jamie Gall. Now, it's the Raiders who really had a bright start. They've learned from the last match on Wednesday, where they conceded 3 goals in those opening 2 quarters. They had a better third and fourth quarter, and it's often nerves. This first day of CPL is often players haven't played together, so just getting to know each other, and they conceded 3, well, much better third and fourth quarter. Got Zika Rousseau from Dermville working down that right-hand side, and she was very prominent on the ball, but they were just unable to get a goal back in that game. And it's the Rebels that work the byline, and it's judged by the umpire. It's been played over that byline, so Raiders ball, Raiders outlet. 5 minutes to go in the first quarter here in Cape Town. We had almost gale force winds, very cold winds on Wednesday, on Heritage Day, and today there's a breeze, but it's very nice outside and lovely conditions, even though it's quite a stiff breeze, but that's the time of the year. If you're a Cape Townian, you're used to playing in these conditions. You've got to use the wind to good effect with the wind at your back, and you know, so if you've got anyone in your side that can throw a nice long overhead, it's also an option. Getting yourself out of this Rebels press, and that's exactly what the Raiders do. They go over the top and they go long, and you can just see how much distance that overhead does carry, but that's beautifully played. And look at the pace and space that the Rebels have got to work with through the midfield. It's amazing that when you receive a ball in the midfield and you're able to turn and everything just opens up. It's the midfielder's dream, so they can get their eyes up, they can look for their strikers. It's not often they have that kind of space to work with in the midfield, and that's something that the Raiders will have to remedy. There's no ways they're going to allow the Rebels to be able to turn in the midfield and just run through those central areas of the field. The turn comes in, the cross into the D, and it goes over the byline, and it's a 16-yard hit. Good quick ball, and it's the carry down the right now for the Raiders, looking to get it higher up the field. So it's SWAT from Parofale. He's working it down that right-hand side. And Isabella Cornelissen right outside half there, getting proceedings underway. She gets it again, Cornelissen. Good ball into that midfield, but it's good delay tactics from the Rebels. You could just see they had numbers into that midfield area, which means the Raiders had to go back. Didn't want to go into contact and try to recycle, and then they win it deeper. So good and so well so tactically aware are the Rebels in that situation as it's played into the midfield. The midfield is not able to turn. They have to play the ball back, and that just gives them time to hold on that angle, and then able to win ball back. Down the line it goes. Raiders now. Lovely play from them. 3D skills and played high. The ball was bobbling around a bit, but it was such good play. And I think it could have been Rousseau on that left-hand side, who I was talking about earlier, was so prominent in the Wednesday game. Able to bounce off the left foot and come in on the inside angle and then set up that high-lying pass. Just needed a Raiders striker to collect that ball and hold on to possession rather than let it bypass them. Sometimes you want someone just to stop it, put a lid on it, and keep possession. Ball gets played. Well, I don't know if it was an intended aerial ball, but it didn't come off, so it was an awkward ball for the Raiders to contend with, but they win ball back. Raiders just slowing things down, and they slow it down through Emily Solomon, who's also a provincial player from Fairmont. Good play from the Raiders to set up the platform, work the help side. Yeah, ball played into the midfield, really a bit of a speculative pass into that midfield with plenty of green shirts around. Now they turn and they use that help side and they do it effectively, and now play down the barrel and it just can't be collected on the reverse stick. But, good interplay from the Rebels, who've had a little bit of too much maybe space in those midfield areas. They've been able to turn, as opposed to the Raiders midfielders. They haven't been able to turn and find players higher up the field. The Rebels have really been able to contain them and have numbers back. The Raiders have been a little bit guilty of allowing them a little bit more space in that midfield area. Well, it ends after the first quarter. 0-0 here in Cape Town. We'll see you after the break. So welcome back for the second quarter. It's the Girls' Cup section, and that's the Raiders versus the Rebels, as you can see on your screens. 0-0 after the first quarter. Both teams have had a couple of opportunities. The Raiders started well, and the Raiders have 2 penalty corners. The Rebels yet to get a penalty corner. It's worked down the left-hand side. And they play in those straight lines and win possession down the sideline. So Rebels in green, if you've just tuned in, they are playing from right to left and have the ball at the moment against the Raiders, who are playing in their familiar black kit from left to right. And now it's the Raiders who work it down that right-hand side through Kayla Orion. Ball played in. Still plenty of hard work. It looked like it was Blair O'Brien from Fairmont who was on the top of the D. Ball gets played out, but a good platform set to field that from the Raiders, who probe down this left-hand side. Again, it's the Rebels that have numbers and to work with. It's Lily Jacobs, who was a player who picked that up and sort of ballooned back into the D and got it to the wide areas for safety. Lily Jacobs played in the Western Province under 14A side, played Western Province Regional under 16 South team, and yes, played into the top of the D. This is an opportunity for the Raiders, and it's well dealt with. Well, that was an opportunity. It was space. And eventually they win themselves a penalty corner. But it was the Rebels goalkeeper, who is Jessica Pravitt, who did well to stand up. And that's the important thing. She stood her ground. And in those situations, as a striker, you almost want the keeper to make a move, either come at you so you can go around them, or go down so you can go up, or move towards you a little bit late so you can go past the left or right foot while they're moving. But she stood and held her ground, and that often offsets the striker, that holding of your ground. So, penalty corner, Raiders. Goes to the top of the D. They go short. Look for that deflection on the near post. Do they get a touch? No. Again, I think it was Blair O'Brien on that near post. Now, quick ball for the Raiders. And they go straight into the traffic. And that's well defended again by the Rebels. I've been impressed by the Rebels' defence because they flooded the ball carrier. They've worked on the angles well. They've been able to defend the crucial angles and lines and stepped into space well. They just haven't been able to get enough quality ball up front to get enough real chances. As you can see, the Raiders come at the Rebels, and ball played through to the high areas. The final touch is just unfortunately not made. I got Amy Grass, who is the 113 on her back, Western Province, 2025, Wynberg Girls High School. And, she might be that high-lying strike as it's played back to the top of the D, looking to unleash the shot, but that's super defense once again from the Rebels. Ball played back and wide, and it's well done from the Raiders as well, because they look to play to the space, as they've been now and again guilty of going into contact down the barrel. And this is how you've got to play if you're going to unlock this defense. That direct ball is always going to be fielded by this Rebels side, as they're well set up. Now it's Raiders into the D. Cross comes in. And wow, that shot just goes wide. Good play from the Raiders. And players in the right position. Well, it's been wave after wave of attack from this Raiders side. Just looking to get their way through. They've had a couple of clear chances, haven't been able to put it to bed. They've had a cross that was it went wide. They've had a one-on-one with a keeper that's been saved. So it's the Raiders that will be kicking themselves slightly. Now that's a good chance now in behind the Raiders defense from the Rebels. A well worked back from the Raiders just to make that timely intervention. It's the Raiders under a little bit of pressure here, and you can just see as it's a huge tussle for the ball, and it's Rebels who win it and look to go forward and try win some quick ball. Now again, momentum moving and shifting. It's the Rebels that look to get themselves into this game. Hasn't been their best quarter. First quarter was pretty even. Second quarter's all been Raiders. Cross comes in. Again, well defended. On a pitch like this, slow track, sand-based Astro, it's really difficult. You've got to make sure that you crack the ball in, because it is slower. So often defenders are able to just maneuver into space, get their angles right, and intercept passes that are pretty slow. So you've really got to pronounce the way that you execute your skills. You've got to do it at high speed. You've actually got to have a better lower center of gravity to get the ball played faster, because it's dry. This pitch is dry with sand on it, so it is going to be slow. But it's a penalty corner for the Rebels. Their first one of the game. 4 minutes left in this quarter. Now they've had to work hard for this opportunity. They've been few and far between. So here it goes, top of the circle. They go to the top. The shot comes in, and it's well dealt with by Shonga. Raiders ball.
Is my camera working? Because the screen went black a few times.
So welcome back for the third quarter of this intriguing match between the Rebels and the Raiders. And that's a good run through the middle. Gall, who just looks for somebody higher up the field. And no one on the same page, unfortunately. So Raiders now in the black, playing from left to right, from right to left on your screens. They've mounted so many attacks in that second quarter, and they had 3 really good chances. They just weren't able to capitalize on those chances. One on the far post, one with a one-on-one with the keeper. Another one that was a cross that went into the 9-yard area. The shot went wide. But really good chances for this Raiders side. And the Rebels are hanging in here. They've had 1 penalty corner. Raiders have had 3 penalty corners. Now it's the Raiders who go through Rousseau. And I see the coach has got her on the right-hand side. It was probably the right option. With that kind of pace down the right-hand side, the Raiders have got to utilize her. It looked like at one stage they were using her on the left-hand side, and she was so effective on Wednesday going down that right-hand side and causing all kinds of trouble with that kind of explosive pace. So it's Raiders now trying to push into Rebels territory, but the Rebels are able to hold on and exit. High press from the Raiders. Rebels under a lot of pressure when their eyes go down and players need to indulge on the ball in either to get out of trouble. It's Raiders now. Come down the middle, and they in a good passage of play, good start for the Raiders in this opening few minutes of this third quarter. Raiders who came off a 3-0 loss on Wednesday. First 2 quarters, there we go. Rousseau down the right. Pace to burn, gets a hit outside the circles. With the Raiders that had a jittery start to this tournament, conceded all 3 goals in this opening first 2 quarters, and then got better in the third and fourth quarter. They've been good in these 3 quarters, but just no goal. They've had nothing to show for the good work they've put in. And also yet to score a goal in this tournament. It was the Rebels that came back with a late goal to draw with a Heat side. And it was pretty good early on in the game. The Rebels hung on in there and they were able to draw that game. And they're doing exactly the same here. They hanging in a bit. There we go. Raiders into the deep. Final pass is just a little soft. So Caitlin Barrett, who just got herself into good position there, the Fairmont under 16 player, run from left to right and looking to play that ball into the deep. And it's Lily Jacobs who got going on this right-hand touchline back and across, and they use the help side. So Rebels now, good opportunity for them at the top of the circle. Well, first tackle looked like a heavy one, but it's eventually won by the Raiders. And they exit through Tamalak. Rhythm House Constantia, Western Province under 16 A player. Ball play to the top of the D. Goal. And, looks for support and gets it wide. Played into a dangerous area. The cross comes in and it's all sorts of scrambling for the Raiders side that have, for the first time, have been put under real pressure. Good work down that right-hand side. It was Lily Jacobs who picked up ball. Lily Jacobs again. So there we go. Lily Jacobs on the ball. Looks for opportunities. Goes direct. And now the breakout from the Raiders. And there's Tyler Johannes from Herschel Girls, who was trying to run that ball out of to make a meaningful counter attack. So this quarter has just flown by. 4 minutes and some change. And still 0-0. Everything to play for. Both sides looking for that elusive W to start their tournament. To get it really going. That's Rousseau with a cross coming in. Good intricate skills there. The inside, outside. Gets the cross in. You've got to hit it hard on this field, as I said earlier. Raiders doing well just to keep the ball and to go into the midfield. A little bit of space with the 1-2. Now the carry into the 23-meter area. This opened up nicely. Goes on the reverse stick side when there was maybe space to work with. Run it into that space, induce the stick hack, get the penalty corner. That was what was needed. They go for the reverse stick shot and just goes all astray and awry. But there's when they work it in the midfield and work it around the back, get it into the midfield to turn, they've got some good pace and good space to work with. Carry from the Rebels out of defence into the midfield. Now they just look to play it back and keep ball, which is probably the right idea, but you can see that Raiders press just steps up more aggressively and puts a lot of pressure on the Rebels. But this is a lovely run through the middle. They've got the space and they induce the stick hack and win the hit. So good play from the Rebels. Play to the right hand side. Now into that midfield area. Won by the Raiders. Well, will the ball win? No, it's played into the top of the D. It's getting a little bit messy, a little bit frantic as they run down the clock. As teams can see that it's the dying moments of the third quarter. Up that left-hand side again. Plenty of black shirts around there, and now they win the ball. It's the Raiders on the charge. Heads are down, just looking for support. They decide to go the direct route, and we know that this Rebel side is always well prepared, and they seem to always have that inside line and that direct route covered. carry to that safety of the sideline and played up, and it's a good ball. And now the run, and a strong run at that, down this left-hand side. Oh, a really cracking run, and they win the hit, and it's good for the Rebels. Get this kind of pressure now late in this game. Super turn and run. So Rebels on the ball. Can they get something? They unfortunately can't, because they run the ball over the byline. Seconds left on the clock. Raiders into the midfield. Rebels hold possession, keep ball, and that's a good play from them. The turn and the space just opens up. Now they've got space on the right hand side, but the clock has run out, and it's the end of the third quarter here, and it's still 0-0. We'll be back for the fourth quarter after the short break. So it game on here, fourth quarter in this Under-16 Cup game. Raiders versus the Rebels. Everything to play for. You'd feel that the Raiders have probably had the better opportunities, but it's the Rebels that have held in and held on in this game. And we've seen in so many games in the past that often there is a little sucker punch or twist in the tail. And the Rebels will feel they've hung in enough to maybe get that sucker punch late in this game, which was so the ever-present, the ever-live wire down that byline. And that'll be a long corner for the Raiders. Raiders now, they run into traffic. Rebels will just play that out. Raiders will have the ball. Well won by the Rebels. Wow, that was a really timely intervention there. Great tackle, but it's still on. It's still on for the Rebels. They won the ball back, but now it's slowed down by the Raiders. And that was that opportunity, the one-on-one with the central defender, and then a keeper to beat. Was that the chance? But now it's the Rebels again that go the direct route, lose it. Raiders, things starting to open up here. And penalty corner one. Well, Some of the players thinking that it might have been a little bit harsh, but it's a penalty corner for the Raiders. There was a bit of a coming together of both players fighting for the ball. Umpire is prepared to give a penalty corner just inside the 23-meter area for, I would imagine, barging. So, Raiders, another opportunity for them. They've had 3 brilliant ones from open play. Can they finally convert? To the top of the D. Stop isn't good enough, and there's an unforced error there. Always difficult to stop on this track because you can't see it on your screens, but there are a couple of divots. This pitch is going to be replaced, so we often are critical of the stopper and the injector, but it's incredibly difficult to inject the ball out on this pitch, and also it does bobble around a bit. A couple of the seams have come apart and a couple of little bumps, and that's why it's being replaced next year. And that does make stopping on the surface and execution of your skills sometimes quite difficult. So I believe a new Belga Tex water-based pitch is coming down here, which will be a great acquisition not only for Western Province Cricket Club but for Rondebosch Boys High School as well. And there we got the mazy run down the middle and fed out to the right. Now the carry down this right hand side. Black shirts flood back to the ball. Do well to delay and then to win ball. Now it's opening up beautifully. Space on the right hand side. Can they get it to Rousseau? Rousseau now, she only knows one way, and that's forward and at pace. Cross comes in. I think we're looking for Blair O'Brien. Now there's some space and to work with for the Rebels. Just looking for support, and that's what the ball carrier needed, just someone to play off. There's the Rebels, Sarah Duperson, who scored on Wednesday. He also loves to go forward with the ball. Ball goes forward. 6 minutes left in this game. Both sides really wanting to get that win, their first win in this tournament. Played into the midfield zone. Carry now. Through by Gull. Well, they need to get Jamie Gull on this ball more often and carrying, and now that's a good one. Over to Duperson. Still, it's Rebels. They fire one in and looking for the deflection. Well, the only deflection they get is off a Raider stick, so they'll have a long corner. Gull taking control. The South African under-16 player turns, spins into flat sticks. Well defended by the Raiders. Now the breakout from the girls in black. It's the Rebels that'll just play it back, hold it up. Or play it up, could I say. Hold it up and now look for support. This is a good run. Maybe needed to take it on herself because there was space to work with at the top of the circle and have a shot herself. And that was the number 47, Kendra Matthijssen. But then she gets the pass through and finds a foot and wins her side a corner. So Matthijssen does well and wins the Rebels' third corner. So, ball play to the top. Gull off the top, looking for the zigzag. It's up in the air. It's untidy. And it's difficult to contend with. Shot comes in. Parried away on the near post. Then again in. And that is the sucker punch that the Rebels were looking for. First save made. Ball comes back free. And it's fired home. And it looks like it's from Kendra Matthijssen. And that was the player that won them the corner. And now she finishes with aplomb. It's the Raiders who are kicking themselves 1-0 down. 3 minutes to go. They've squandered 3 clear chances. And as I said earlier, there's a twist in the tail again on the hockey field. This Rebel side is held on against all odds. And they've come back strongly. Look at them using this space down the right-hand side well. Again, the Rebels tails up. And the Raiders now. It's 3 minutes of high-pressure hockey. Can they keep ball? Can they march it up the field? Can they get themselves something from this game? So dominant for long stages of this game. They find themselves 1-0 down. Better play from the Rebels. They've used the space, the width. But it's picked off by the Raiders. So, Kendra Matthijssen. Is she going to have the last laugh with an open play goal to make it 1-0? Lovely run. Jamie Gall gets it back again. Gets it high. Played under the shoulder to the byline. The turn. Good flat stick tackle from the Raiders. And again, another tackle made. 1.5 minutes left. So Raiders now. They go over the top, into the breeze, over the press. And now, the charge down the right-hand side. They've got space. It's Rousseau. She looks for the shot. Comes in. Is it in? Well, it could have come off her foot. Yes, it did. Rousseau had the shot. There were 2 players queuing up on the far post. And unfortunately, it strikes her foot. And I think it's Swatu who is there. Fortunately, the ball was just played onto her foot. And that could have been the equalizer with seconds left. They just unpicked the lock, found the space. "30 seconds left. Rebels just happy to slow things down, go over the top, play the lines, hold it up. Play some clever hockey, which they do. And you feel that it was the Raiders now that just squandered their chance to get themselves something out of this game. Seconds left. And that is the end of the game. It's Kendra Matthijssen who wins it for her side. A late goal. And it's the Rebels that beat the Raiders here as the sun sets in Cape Town. 1-0. An enthralling encounter. Thank you for joining us. It ends here in Cape Town. It's the Rebels 1. It's the Raiders 0. I've got Jamie Gall here from the Rebels. What a win, a late goal to seal it. You must be ecstatic.
Yes, I'm very proud of the win. Very happy.
So the Raiders at one stage looked the strongest side. They had three probably clear chances to score. They squandered those chances. You girls looked like you just hung in there and believed.
Yes, it was quite tough out there. We just fought to the last second and glad to have the win.
Well, it's tremendous because you've also had to come back in your last game. Is that correct? Was it against the Heat?
Yes, that game was quite tough actually. They played a very good game, but I was quite disappointed with the draw, but draw is a draw.
So now you finally get your win.
Yes, very happy.
So where do you go from here?
We don't know yet. We just go with the flow. We take one game at a time and just hope for the win.
Your defense is very well set up. You set up the crucial lines, those inside balls. You really worked. Have you worked hard on that defense, making sure you force teams wide, you're in on those angles, those critical areas. You've seemed to have worked hard and you're well organized in that defensive area.
Yes, we train very hard at the back. We try to keep it calm, not too frantic at the back, and it turns out very well, very good, and we're happy with that.
Jamie Gould, the South African under-16 player. We wish you well for the rest of the tournament.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you.